for being here. Let's begin. So let's start right off with some Kapalabhati. We'll do 2 rounds, and I'll pause us and bring us together. And so Kapalabhati, tip of the nose, low belly, short, sharp exhalations. Let's just go for about 40 or 50 pumps, and then we'll take a pause and we'll regroup. So when you're ready, we'll begin. And resume your Ujjayi breath. We'll switch to the cross of legs. We'll do another round, round 2. Here we go. And resume your Ujjayi breath. And right here, we can plant that seed. What is the quality of energy that I want to feed in this work, in this physical practice work? What's the quality of mind that I want to bring to task? Is there a certain way of seeing, a certain way of considering or being open to possibilities? What do I want to select in? And these next few breaths, bring that in on and with your breath. So this teaches us how to breathe in these characteristic, energy-conducive ways. It's the very way that we might open and breathe if we want to play with viewing ourselves compassionately may feel entirely different than the way we open ourselves and breathe if we're working to heal something at a cellular level. They might be the same, but they might be really different flavors. All right. We're going to use a lounge lunge. Nope. Let me say that again. We're going to use a lounge lizard for our side bend. And we're going to do it with a roll. So a roll or a block will work just fine. So this is the one where we lie on a side. So we've got my right heel, my right hip, my right hand aligned. and a roll. You could use a block between the legs. If putting the object between the legs feels too stretchy, you could omit it. Now we'll flex the feet and straighten and reach through that bottom leg, that right leg. We're connecting to breath, but it's breath that works with and that carries and displays and expresses that exact quality of energy or a quality of mind that we want to work with. So maybe I want to work with a greater sense of compassion, but maybe I don't know how that goes or how that feels or what that might be like. So I use the time to start to figure that out. How do I enact that in my mind, in my body, with my breath? So again, these aren't concepts that we're playing with. They're not just mental constructions. They're experiences and enactments. And they occur in our body, and they happen in and with and through our body. All right, let's release, and we'll switch sides. So in the cosmology of the yogis, things are energetic before they're matter. Things are of a subtle substance before they're of a firmer, more fixed, tangible or concrete substance. So we're on our left side. We're straightening, reaching out through that left leg, left heel. And we release. So I hope you're able to start to feel something around the sides of the hip, the waist, the abdomen. So let's lie on our back. And we'll attempt to feel right in between those two side waist areas. We'll do just a few things, a few of a few. So we'll start with the feet off the ground for elbow to knee, the knees over the hips. And I'm using abdominal musculature, so I'm making abdominal pressure, intra-abdominal pressure, to feel the sacrum, the top rim of the sacrum, remain close or in contact with the ground. Inhale, float head, shoulders up off the ground. And that's with that intra-abdominal pressure, so strong breath. Curling tailbone will reiterate that sacrum to ground. Exhale, reach out through the left leg. Sink the belly in and down. Inhale, bending left knee. With that intra-abdominal pressure, feeling where the top rim of the sacrum is very close or contacting the ground. Curling tailbone just reiterates that move. Exhale, reach out through the right leg. As the right armpit knits more closely to the left hip bone, and then sink and draw the low belly down. Inhale, bend that right knee. We'll do 3 more on each side. There's 3 more on each side. Oh, nice. We tell our sun and our hours are changing because I can see all of you doing abdominals. Without too much of a break, we're going to go directly into frog, lifting through. So with those bent legs, we'll separate them widely. And we'll go right in. Inhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. The shins are parallel with the ground, more or less. Exhaling, the tailbone shifts. It's a low abdominal move that tilts the pelvis and then reaching out through the thighs. Sink the belly in. It's not a fast pop it and drop it move. Just pull, gather, sink, feel, find. And now inhale, relaxing the tailbone down. And then exhaling. As the tailbone shifts, the whole pelvis changes orientation. Then reaching out through the legs. And stay with the low belly as you gather it, sink it, pull it in, move it in. Feel inwardly between the hips. All right, we'll do 2 more like so. Inhale. And then inhaling, we'll set the head down. Use your hands to support the legs. Just draw them in a little bit, straighten them, and then re-straddle them, re-separate them. Working straddle lifting through. I'll just do like four of these. So a few of a few. Right, straddle lifting through, here we go. Inhale, the head, shoulders up. And exhale. Reach. Stay with the belly. Track with the belly in. And we'll do the final three at our own pace. Straddle lifting through, just three more. As you stay with the belly, drawing it, moving it in. Those of you who are more anatomically or maybe scientifically minded, know that you're exerting pulling and pressure and stretching all around that lymphatic area, the groin. It's an important vessel area, also a blood pathway, big blood pathway. So you can start to feel for moving the tension from around those blood pathways and lymph node pathways. So important to clear the pain, and anything that feels stifling around the inner leg and the groin, the hip. It's worth working. We're going to do an unlocking the hip in bridge. So we get our self readied for bridge. Decide if you will want a block for support. Get it near if so. Fingers skim the heels, inhaling into the abdomen, the hip crease. And exhale, shift the tailbone toward the sky. We enter bridge. Use the block if you need. We'll leave the right leg stationary, inhale, picking up the left foot, and then crossing that ankle over the right thigh. Flex the left foot. And the left hip, same altitude as the right hip. If you're not sure, just use your fingertips. You can touch, you'll feel, you'll know. Oftentimes that left hip will tend to drop a little bit, so you might have to unsag the left hip in your bridge. There you go. That's you could also feel how much of each breath reaches the hip. We may start off with a really great intention to feel, to know, to sense the hip, and then halfway in we kind of So there's a these are my words, and they may not be accurate for you, but to me there's a quality of almost like saturation, like the way the breath feels, that it's saturating any particular area of the body. And saturation is also like a willingness and a wantingness to be exactly right there, knowing, sensing, feeling, exploring. So what holds me there is not willpower, but deep and abiding care, non-judgmental care and interest. All right, let's switch sides. We'll set the left foot down. And learn if you can work the hips at that same altitude as you pick the right foot up, as you put the right ankle on the left thigh. So letting the hips remain same height as we make that switch. There you go. Mm-hmm. The abiding care and interest to be in and to feel our body undercuts any of that, any of the pervasive inner critic that likes to tell us how this ought to go and why this isn't good enough. And that inner critic's can be a real saboteur. So we'll release, setting the right foot back down to the ground. With our feet, both feet on ground, supporting, pressing. If you need to move a prop, take it out. Descend, exiting bridge. And we'll set up for turbo dog. So let's move to our hands and our knees. Turbo dog's a really strong move for you. Like, you can put your hands up on blocks. There'll be a few caveats with that. So if you wanted just a little different take on the musculature, you can prop your hands on blocks. The caveat is every brain style that I've seen so far wants very much to clutch the edges of the block with their thumbs. So you'll have to just resist that urge to grab with the thumbs. Okay? If you don't want the blocks, here we go. On the ground, move the hands forward, just a couple inches forward from the shoulder, the under the shoulder placement. Fingers go straight ahead. It's the arm bones that we're turning. So sometimes we turn and move the arms, and we just turn and move the hands. The hands stationary. We're moving the upper arm bone, and then doing all of the moves that we would do in unlocking the shoulder, drawing the shoulders away from the neck, reaching the elbows toward the earth, engaging the chest. So make all those distance adjustments. So all that musculature supports your chest, so that when you exhale, your chest muscles remain involved as we enter Turbo Dog. Now, a little piece I find super cool to work here in Turbo Dog. There's a lot of musculature action. And if it's too much, the following will just kind of slide right by our inner ears. So ensure you're in a Turbo Dog that you can sustain for at least 5 breaths. And without moving the arms up or down or any which way, start to lengthen the mid-spine away from the upper spine. Start to feel the spine and the ribs able to lengthen away from the arms without straightening the arms. That's the feature here. So all the elbows are bent. And you're doing all of the moves of unlocking the shoulders, moving the shoulders away from the jaw, reaching the elbows and the arms toward the ground, flexing the chest muscles, deeply breathing in and behind all of those chest muscles, and sending the butt back, lengthening the spine. Let's go 2, maybe 3 more breaths. Turbo Dog. And we'll gently set the knees down. When we move to standing, we'll separate our legs. We'll be working a chest opener and fold. So interlacing the hands behind back. Inhaling into the chest wall, so that exact area that was flexing and engaging now is getting some breathing, spreading, stretching. Exhale, fold, trunk right between the legs. The knuckles, reach them, lift them, so the shoulders move away from the head. There is a way to work this move where I'm trying to get the hands closer to the ground. And that type of move brings the muscles and the bones of the shoulder and the arms to kind of cluster at the back of the neck and the sides of the neck. So we're reaching the arms a different way so that the neck can feel more spacious, unclustered, uncongested. And inhale, bring hands down to the sacrum. Release the hands. And we can set them on the ground for the moment to press or walk our hands up our legs. We'll move directly into triangles. So let's turn and adjust the right foot forward. We'll adjust the back heel out. Inhaling, arms out to the side, preparing for triangle. Again, right foot forward. Exhale, the right arm reaches, the right ribs lengthen. We set that hand down, and I really like to push, like physical right arm. In that way, the push can help me feel lighter in the right shoulder. And then reach through the left arm, feeling lighter in the left shoulder. And we're going to work this as a chest opener. So start to reach and lift the left arm into that space behind you. Bending the right knee, lounge lunge. Inhale, we'll set the left hand down, the left knee down. And the right arm hugs that thigh, exhaling. Both a squeeze and a turn, reaching through that left leg. Getting those deep washes of breath moving through those left ribs. And working with your breath here, these left side ribs are in this wonderful condition or shape where we can really get a good movement and exercise through those rib muscles. So practice staying with inhale, tracking how all those rib muscles all the way up that left armpit, spreading, moving, stretching, working. So getting those bones near the armpit to move, to spread, the lung tissue. Inhale and unwind. We'll back it up. Hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. I will lower all the way down to the ground. Set hands forward, cobra, shifting the tailbone toward the earth. Inhale. Both widening through the heads of the shoulders. Exhaling, lower, reset the hands. Downward dog. If you love it, turbo dog. It's there for you. And we'll step into that triangle now. Inhale the left foot forward. Exhaling, reaching through the left arm, the left side ribs lengthen. And we'll set that left arm down. Now you may have already learned in maybe straddle that your two groins, your inner left leg, inner right leg, they feel very different. So maybe your triangles will reflect that again too. So Once you get those legs like working well to create all those sweet tensions around the bones and the fascia, deepen breath. Deepen breath. So kind of putting the wind in the sails, so to speak. So while the tension is information to the cells, our deep breath is information that moves and speaks to those tensions. Lounge lunge. We'll bend that left knee. Inhale. The right hand down, right knee down. Left arm hugs the left thigh. Exhale. Squeeze, turn. Reaching that right leg back. Get a nice little bit of just a spreading, a stretching, a nice sweet tension, and then getting steady. Let the breath kind of interact with the tension, and that way we can listen, feel, sense. How the breath interacts in the body and throughout the cells as they're holding and releasing tension is it's pretty miraculous. But there is a quality of we have to be willing to just steady ourselves, resist the urge to fix the stretch or make the stretch better or make the stretch harder or make the stretch more. Just get a nice little sweetness moment, pause, steady, and now feel the breath interacting. Right? Because when we're wiggling and fixing and adjusting, that's more of our brain and our controller going, I can make this better, let me fix this, oh, let me get some input from my inner critic. They say this isn't good enough, and it's subtle. I'm speaking to these inner voices, they're subtle, Inhale, let's unwind, hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. That we may not experience them like voices, but just little tendencies or habits. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower downward dog. Set up half moon. If you love a block, grab a block. Inhale, the right foot forward. The right hand placed down to support. And the left foot raises hip height. Exhaling, the heel reach back. So the tailbone lengthen back. And I'm going to use my thumb, my left hand, and in pressuring that left side of the pelvis and the sacrum, you could use your palm. I like this hand here. You can nudge that tailbone toward the left heel. Good, now let's find out, getting steady-ish, deepen breath. And let the breath just start to move and even disrupt a little bit or inform those tensions. Where's those tensions? Well, I get them when I'm arching and lifting and moving the chest forward. I get them and I feel them when I'm reaching the leg back. I get them through my enactments, my decision to kind of work the pose, work the body in the pose. Inhale, set the left foot down to the ground in a warrior two, or rather an extended warrior. Here's what I mean. We do a little extra. So extended warrior sacral push. My right forearm's on my right thigh, and my left hand, my left palm, is going to the sacrum. Turn that left foot in if it's not. And use that left hand, push the sacrum. So again, intoning the tailbone lengthening away from your brain. Now, deeply breathe under that left palm. We're going to stay with this a moment, because as we're breathing down into the sacrum, holding, maintaining, we're going to start to lift and grow the chest forward. Do you ever notice when you focus somewhere in the body, like the pelvis, somewhere downwards from the head, sacrum, sometimes we kind of round and curl around and down toward that area? So while you're giving that sacrum a lot of hand touch, breath, love, inhale, grow, telescope the ribs away from the hand, away from the hips. There you go. And when we release, we're going to work in Ekapada again. Yes, we're in that Ekapada mode. So here's some ideas. One idea is leave the foot on the ground. Set up the arms like crow, right arm to right shin. And just work all the unlocking the shoulder, all the shoulder down, the chest muscles, press. And so just by working this, with the back foot down, you'll get like a really nice half dose of turbo dog. That's a great move. Another way, go right foot on block. Work the arms, it's like a little half dose of turbo dog. You start to walk that left foot closer to the right. And as the hips peak higher and higher and higher, maybe you do want to lift that left foot up. This does become a little more intense for the leg and the leg muscles. So select one of those. The first one is nice for the arms, just like a half dose of turbo dog, very, very workable. Good, and everyone's got their leg and their arm touching. That's perfect. It looks like everyone's got that great turbo dog move where that's it. Now stay for 1 or 2 more breaths if you've got it, and feel the butt lengthening, the spine lengthening away from the armpits and the arms. Yep, 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 yep. So kind of uncluster the guts, uncluster the spine. Opening, 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 opening. Reaching down. Yes, 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 yes. All right, inhale. Set the left foot down if it's not. We'll step off the block if you had one. Chaturanga. Exhaling the right foot back. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. All right, we've got a few moves. And we'll start with the half moon. Inhale the left foot forward. Use a block for the left hand. We'll place the right hand around the right hip. And as we're steadying, deepen breath. Sometimes we steady our body and we restrain our breath. Deep, deep breath. Yeah, so our balance is less of a restraining quality and it's more of a moment-to-moment recalibration. Right, here's that extended warrior with sacral push. Inhale the right foot down. The left forearm to the thigh and the right palm to the sacrum. Ensure right foot is turned in. And spreading breath into the sacrum. You feel it. You'll feel it in and with your hand. Good, and expanding each breath, expanding from the sacrum. Start to grow and move the chest bones away from the sacrum. So as the breath field expands, the body, the physical body expands. And this is, of course, where we get into that subtler sense awareness, or that subtle body awareness, which can be a kind of a funny place for us to work if you're not, right? It's sometimes we think, am I imagining that I'm doing this? Do I actually feel that I'm doing this? It's a subtler sensing, and it takes a lot of kind of faith to depend, to come to rely on our subtle sensing. All right, we'll release that right hand, and here's our version of Ekapada. You do the one that works for you today. So version 1, so I'm just creating 2 suggestions today, is leave the left foot on the ground, set up the arms, and leave the right foot on the ground. Work it like a turbo dog. Deep breath. And I'm using my feet to peak the hips higher and higher and higher. And the other option is setting that left foot on a block, letting the hips to peak higher, higher, higher. Perhaps lifting the left foot up. Whichever you're doing, the practice here is to move the lower portion of your torso away from the upper portion of your torso. Either version, there's a lengthening, a lifting, the guts away from the lungs, the mid-spine away from the upper spine. So we're not just hunching, we're not hunching over our hands, we're pressing the earth and growing and lengthening the body into the sky, no matter which version. There you go. Go for sky. Go for sky, right leg. Go for sky, mid-back. Yeah. All right, inhale. We'll set that right foot down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. You could do cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. And I'm going to create one more choice point for us. So you can set the knees down and just make a little shift here. Pardon me, if you're working shoulder stand, we'll get into shoulder stand or bridge on the wall. I won't talk through bridge on the wall, just say it so that you can remember that you know it. If you're not doing shoulder stand, do a lying fold. So you'll lie back and hug the legs to you so you don't have to put the same stretches or pressures through the neck area. Okay? So I'm going to do bridge on the wall. I'm not going to talk into it, but you can see it if you need to remember it. So option one is shoulder stand, bridge on the wall. And option two is a lying fold. This will be our last move before Shavasana. So you can also decide where do I want to end up for Shavasana. And once we have our feet up and our hips up, those of us doing shoulder stand, we support the legs up. So whether we're using our hands or the wall, it's about getting the legs over the heart. And if you're not doing a shoulder stand today, then lying and then fold the legs toward you. You can hold them over your pelvis. You can hug them toward your chest. Okay, now we're going to rest. We're going to be in this pose a handful of breaths because it actually takes just a moment or two for blood to move from the outside of the body back to the core of the body, from the periphery back toward the lungs and the heart. And so I don't have much yoga data on this, but I listen to the medical people when they're talking about putting things into the blood and taking scans. And they tend to think there's about a 2-minute circulatory that's called a first pass, where you got to get your scan in those first couple of minutes that a substance enters the bloodstream. So I just hear that as, okay, so nice for the blood to kind of run around the tracks, so to speak. We gotta give it a minute or two. Kind of keeping that deep breath moving. It'll start to pool or move toward the lungs. And within the next several breaths, we can start to unfurl from our fold or our shoulder stand and start to move towards Shavasana. And once you're settled down to the ground, allow your breath cadence to just shift however it goes, however it needs, as we move out of Ujjayi breath into a breath that we're not regulating, but sensing and feeling and observant of. Taking curious, kind interest in how you feel, how you sense being in a body now. When you're ready, bend knees. We'll turn to a side and press up. Oh, it's a pleasure to see you all. Thanks for being here. Namaste. Love y'all. Have a good day.